So we're gonna go ahead and get into the rest of the haul. The rest of these fragrances I did purchase myself. I don't think I'm gonna go in any particular order. I'm just gonna grab them and start talking about them, and I'll tell you where I purchased them from as we go. The next one I have here is from the House of Oud, and this is What About Pop. So I have the sleeve. I didn't put the sleeve back on there because y'all, when I tell you this gave me hell taking it off, oh my god, like it was on there so tight to the point where I was about to just rip the sleeve off. And here it slides out as well, and oh my gosh, look at that egg. Isn't it just so beautiful? And the card that's inside just says, this piece is a jewel of artistry. Its craftsmanship makes every piece unique. No two are alike. Any minor imperfections on the surface of the bottle are evidence of the work of the Italian craftsman who decorated this masterpiece of style. So I love the color. I love gold in general. You can probably see it on camera. There are some minor flaws like they said, but that's fine with me. I like the idea that they actually take time and hand paint each one of their eggs. It just shows how much love they put into their fragrance bottles. This is another fragrance that I picked up because of Jeanne Antoinette. I purchased this one from Crystal Fragrance, and I did pay full price for this. The Crystal Fragrance site is not a discount site. She is a retailer, so the fragrances on her site will be there for retail price. But I purchased from her site instead of purchasing from the House of Oud site or from Lucky Scent or any place like that, because on her site, once you spend a certain amount of money, you get a certain number of samples. And for me, that made it more worth it. That's actually where I got my BDK Rouge smoking sample from. And with the price that this fragrance is, I think I got 7 samples. She sent me a 7 ml of Dates Delight by the House of Oud, and I think it was 6 other samples that I got as well. So that was amazing for me, and they were all niche fragrances that I was interested in and was considering blind buying. So I'm very glad that I was able to sample them, because I don't think I'll purchase any of those. So yes, I think it was very beneficial for me to have purchased from her site and for me to be able to have tested those fragrances, because I'd have been really hurt if I blind bought some of those. As the name implies, this is a popcorn scent. This is one that I have to be in the mood for as well, because you know, I don't always want to smell like popcorn, but when I do, this is literally the perfect popcorn scent. Now, I will say that it starts off like popcorn, so for like the first maybe 30 minutes to an hour is not even that long, maybe. I'd say the first about 15 minutes is very potent popcorn, but after that, I don't think you're gonna be walking around smelling like popcorn. And to me, it's like a sweet popcorn scent. So the opening kind of reminds me of like a salted buttered kettle corn, because kettle corn to me has a bit of sweetness to it. So that's what it reminds me of in the opening. And as it dries down, that popcorn note is still there, but it settles quite a bit to where it doesn't smell like very strongly of popcorn. Like for instance, in the dry down, if I didn't know it was a popcorn scent, I probably wouldn't guess that it was a popcorn scent. It just has like a lightly salted, sweet, creamy vanilla scent to it in the dry down. Well, this is one I would not wear in the heat. I'm kind of upset that I waited so long to get it, because once I got it, it had already started to get a bit warm outside, and I did wear it one day where it was cooler and it was better that day, but I feel like this would be something that I wear specifically in cold weather, so winter. I don't even know if I'll wear it in the fall, because it does have the ability to make me a bit nauseous. I can tell just by smelling it. So especially in the heat, I know it will probably make me nauseous. So if you're looking for a popcorn scent, I'd say sample this one. There was one point where I was on a popcorn kick. I was obsessed with finding a popcorn scent. I did actually have a fragrance mist by Sol de Janeiro that kind of fills my gourmand popcorn kick that I was having. It filled it at that time, but it's kind of like this one. You only smell it like in the opening, the popcorn note that is. Like I said, I do really like this one. I don't know if it was worth the price point to me personally because I won't be wearing it that often. I feel like if I use it up, it's not gonna be one that I'd repurchase, at least not at this very moment. That could change when I get a chance to wear it more often down the line, but it does have great performance. It has, I'd say, moderate projection and at least 8-hour longevity on me. And like I said, I love the egg. I think I love the bottle more than the scent. And I know that's crazy, but it is what it is. But I don't know, guys, if I sampled this one before I purchased it, I might not have picked it up, but who's to say? I don't know, because I did blind buy it, so who knows. But yeah, anyway, I am happy to have tried it because I've been interested in it for a minute and I do like the fragrance. So again, that is the House of Oud. What about Pop? This next fragrance was kind of a fail. Not completely, because I did like the scent, but every time I tried to wear it, it made me nauseous. That's literally the worst, when you actually like the scent and it makes you sick when you wear it. But the fragrance I'm talking about is Al Contrario by Takira Thompson. And I was interested in this one because of Gabby Loves Perfumes here on YouTube. I picked this one up from Fragrance X. And this was a tester, so it did come without the box. Even smelling it here is making me a bit nauseous. To me, it's a sweet, citrusy cocoa powder and vanilla scent. I don't think it has any citrus notes in it, but there's something in it. And I think whatever's giving me that citrus scent in this fragrance is what's clashing with everything else. On the skin, it does get a bit more creamy in the dry down, and I believe that's from the vanilla note, but it's very powdery on me. And it does have an orchid note, and an orchid note can tend to be powdery on my skin, fresh and powdery. So it has like a fresh powderiness to it. And then it's actually cacao, not cocoa, but it smells like a cocoa powder, as well as that citrus aspect that I said. And just saying it out loud, I can see why it might not mesh well. It just has a lot going on. There's also a woodiness to this as well, specifically in the dry down. And I've told you guys previously that my skin tends to hone in on woody notes, and it definitely does that with this fragrance. I did like the fragrance. It was never a love, even at first sniff, because I don't know, I think I was expecting something different from it. I haven't tried any other Takira Thompson fragrances. This is my first one, and when I saw the price, I figured, why not let me go for it? Especially based off of what it retails for. I figured it was worth the try. It was worth the blind buy. It was kind of a risky blind buy for me based on just the notes, because it does have a mahogany wood note. And that note, it tends to pull very masculine on my skin. It almost has like a masculine fragrance to it. I think if you had soaked a slab of wood with some very masculine fragrance. I don't know, that's how mahogany pulls on my skin for whatever reason. But I don't think that's what bothers me here. I really think just all those different scents combined just don't mesh well to my nose. But yeah, again, that is Al Contrario by Takira Thompson. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about my next fail. These are fails, but not quite. Like, well, I guess they are kind of fails because I won't wear them. So the fragrance I'm talking about is Jasmine's Marzipan by Lancome. Here's the box. I have issue with Lancome and these boxes because they're very flimsy. They feel kind of cheap to me, and the price point of these fragrances, I feel like they could do a lot better with these boxes because it feels very lightweight and thin. You can just look at it and tell. I like the design, but I feel like it needs to be thicker because the bottles of these fragrances are so heavy as it is. It just feels like they're too heavy for the box. So yeah, Lancome, y'all can do better than that. But here is the bottle. I love the bottles in the amazing Lancome line though, I will say that. So this one only has the one plate on it. Lavonda's Trend Line had, I think, 2 plates. This one was so disappointing because, first of all, I was scared of buying this one in general, but I went ahead and took the plunge. I had a coupon code. I purchased this directly from the Lancome site with my coupon code. And with the coupon code, I feel like it was worth just going for it. And when I first sprayed this on, first of all, this was a love at first sniff. I told you guys a lot of the time when something is a love at first sniff for me, it usually goes downhill from there. And that's what it did with this fragrance. I loved it immediately. First sniff, I'm like, why was I even scared to try this fragrance? Like, I'm so mad I waited. Let me tell you about the opening first because that's what I loved. It was like a fresh but still sweet almond and jasmine scent. The opening was gorgeous. It felt very feminine and just inviting and beautiful. That's how I felt when wearing it within that first hour. And then as it settled on my skin, the woody notes. I told you guys my skin amplifies woody notes. And on the side it says the assemblage is jasmine, sambac, and bois d'amande, so almond wood. I've never smelled almond wood, but I've smelled almonds and I can pinpoint woodiness in the fragrance. It literally smells like an almond wood, like it says. That note amplified way up on my skin, so it became very woody, and the jasmine note started to become a bit, not even a bit, it became indolic on my skin to the point where it started to smell a bit like bad breath. And y'all, I've heard people say that before, that happens to them sometimes on their skin from jasmine, but I had never experienced it until this fragrance in the mid to dry down, and started making me feel nauseous, and I had already sprayed it on at this point, so I had to go shower. And it's so unfortunate because I love the opening so much, but I would not even try to wear this again because that experience after the opening, I can't. The woodiness combined with that indolic jasmine, just no. I guess they put a bit too much indole in this fragrance. But yeah, it's another one I picked up. And again, that is Maison Lancome Jasmine's Marzipan. Or Marzipan. I don't know how to pronounce it. I didn't look it up. These next fragrances I got from fragrancebuy.ca, which is a Canadian discounter. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one here, and this is Mancera Holidays in this gold box. Has a little gold dust bag as well, and here is the bottle. So this one was a love at first sniff for me as well. Y'all know how those go. Initially, the opening to me, I get mostly that bergamot notes. It's like a slightly spicy, green, citrusy scent in the opening. And I get that coconut as well in the opening, but in the opening it smells more like coconut water as opposed to like a sweet, creamy coconut scent. But after the opening, it becomes more of that sweet, creamy coconut scent, and I get more of the ylang-ylang. And in this fragrance, it kind of reminds me of like a banana daiquiri, and then the vanilla note as well. After the opening, it becomes more noticeable, and it adds even more sweet creaminess to the fragrance. I like the fragrance, but the opening is kind of sharp to me, and that sharpness kind of lasts throughout the wear for me. I'm noticing that about Mancera fragrances, at least the ones that I've tried. I've only tried Holidays and Velvet Vanilla, which you guys know I tried. But I found that both of these fragrances have a sharpness to it that kind of bothers me. It's like a nose burning sharpness. I never overspray these because I already know that the Mancera fragrances are beasts, and I can't overspray them even if I wanted to, because that sharpness will become overwhelming. It's still kind of annoying even when I spray them lightly, and I don't know, I feel like I'm starting to get to the point where I can't even tolerate it. I've already decluttered Velvet Vanilla because of it, and I don't know about this one, because besides that sharpness, I do really enjoy the scent. Oh, I forgot to mention, it does have a seawater note, I believe, but it smells like it has like a mineralized saltiness. Think about maybe drinking a banana colada while walking beside the salt water. So you have the saltwater breeze and you're drinking your banana colada, so it's sweet and creamy and refreshing with this saltwater breeze in the air. That's kind of what this smells like to me, and with that added sharpness. The sharpness really kind of, it doesn't ruin it completely, but I really wish that it didn't have that, because I'd enjoy it more if it didn't. So as with Velvet Vanilla, this is a theme I'm thinking with the Mancera fragrances. They have amazing performance. Projection wise, amazing. I'd say heavy projection throughout the majority of the wear as well. Longevity, amazing. I'd say 10 plus hours. The only complaint I have is that sharpness. Yeah, again, that is Mancera Holidays by Mancera, of course. So these next two fragrances that I got from Fragrance Buy are my unicorn fragrances that I mentioned. The first one I have here is by Thierry Mugler, and this is Alien Taste of Fragrance magnified with salted butter caramel. So this was a tester, so it came in this tester box, and here is what the fragrance looks like. Now, these two fragrances I'm talking about randomly came back in stock on Fragrance Buy, and I was so excited because I had been wanting them for like forever. I actually wanted this one instead of Essence Absolute. This is the one that I was interested in the first place, but this one was impossible to find. Or if you did find it, it was upwards of $400, and ain't nobody about to pay that. But when it came back in stock, I immediately jumped on it. And reviews were saying that it smells similar to Essence Absolute, and I do agree with that. This smells similar to Essence Absolute, but I will say that that mentholated jasmine that's in Essence Absolute is magnified in Essence Absolute to my nose, is more toned down in this fragrance. It's still more potent to me than it is in the original Alien, but it's just not as strong as Essence Absolute. So for that reason, I do prefer this fragrance to Essence Absolute. But I feel like if you're someone who loves Essence Absolute, then you may be underwhelmed by this fragrance. To me, I don't get any caramel, even though it says salted butter caramel in the notes. To me, it smells like vanilla. And it's like that vanilla extract vanilla that's in Essence Absolute. It's even a bit doughy in this fragrance to my nose, but it's not sweet to me. There might be a slight bit of sweetness, but it's not very sweet to my nose at all. I feel like Essence Absolute is sweeter than this fragrance is. And I don't know, I like this fragrance, but I don't love it. It's not one that I would go out of my way to try to find or repurchase. Like I said, I do prefer it to Essence Absolute, but I believe because I have gotten my Gourmand Vanilla Alien feel with my K-Ali Alien combination that I mentioned in my layering video. It has great performance, just like Essence Absolute, just like the other Aliens, but even though I do prefer this scent to Essence Absolute, I do feel like Essence Absolute has more depth. I don't feel like you need to go out of your way to find this and try to get it if you already have Essence Absolute. But if you're like me and that overly mentholated jasmine that Essence Absolute has bothered you, then you might prefer this one as well. But again, that is Alien Taste of Fragrance Salted Butter Caramel by Thierry Mugler. So this next fragrance is a love. Yay, we're looking up because those last three were kind of not exactly fails, but not loves either. But this is another unicorn, like I said, and this is from Guerlain, and this is a Mon exclusive. So here's what the box looks like, and here is the back, and this just slides off. Nice, heavy, thick packaging, and here is the bottle inside. And you see these letters here, they're for you to be able to name the fragrance yourself, but I don't really care to do that. Here's the bottle up close. I really like the bottle. It's nice and sleek little bow. Mon Guerlain and this are said to be almost exactly the same. They are very similar. So if you have and love Mon Guerlain, I don't think you need this fragrance. I don't think it's necessary to have both in your collection, at least not for me. Once I got this one, I decluttered Mon Guerlain. I was someone who never loved Mon Guerlain. I liked it. I rarely reached for it. The lavender in Mon Guerlain was a bit too herbal for my liking, and so it kind of bothered me a bit when I would wear it. The lavender in this fragrance is still herbal, but is not as herbal as it was in that fragrance. In Mon Guerlain, it was to the point where it was a bit sharp, and in combination with the sweetness of that fragrance, it kind of would make me a bit nauseous. Here, it's just like perfectly blended, and it's still that lavender vanilla scent, but this one has a toffee note in it as well. And I found that on my skin, when this dries down, it has like a sweet, creamy, buttery scent to it, and I didn't get that in Mon Guerlain. The vanilla I did get, it was still sweet in that fragrance. I wouldn't say it was overly creamy, maybe a bit creamy, but here I love that added butteriness that it has, and it's a bit salty as well, not overly, just slightly. It's still a soft projector, just like Mon Guerlain. For me, at least, it didn't have the biggest projection. It was more of an intimate scent. I can wear it while I'm wearing it, but I feel like people around you would have to be closer to you to smell this fragrance. Longevity wise, it has decent longevity. I say I got about 8 hours from it, but I believe that Mon Guerlain was created to, at least this is what I've heard, it was created to be a more affordable substitute to this fragrance because this one was more pricey. But I love this. This is my Mon Guerlain of choice. This perfected everything about Mon Guerlain that bothered me. So yeah, Again, that is mine exclusive by Guerlain. And like I mentioned in my last video, I got an in-stock notification sent to my email because I signed up for them. Same thing with the Taste of Fragrance from Thierry Mugler. I signed up for in-stock notifications for those fragrances on Fragrance Buy. So when they did come back in stock randomly, they emailed me about them, and they actually came back in stock on the same day, which was crazy. So I purchased these both at the same time. But if you're interested in either of those, I recommend signing up for those in-stock notifications. I will leave Fragrance Buy link down in my description box so you guys can sign up for those if you were interested. So the next fragrance I have here is Laine in Gold by Mikalev. This is the box, and it has this clear sleeve on it. I guess I could have took that off. And oh, the bottle just sits down in there like that. This is in gold, so it has gold shimmer in it, and you shake it up, and here's what we look like. So pretty. As you can see, mine already has a dent in it because I've worn this several times since I got it. I love this fragrance, if you can already tell. Now, this was not a love at first sniff. And those are the ones that I typically end up growing to love the most. When I first sprayed this and tried it on, I was underwhelmed. I felt it was more floral than I was expecting, and it wasn't as sweet as I was expecting. But over time it got sweeter. I don't know what happened, but this is a tropical floral fragrance for sure to my nose, but in a luxurious way. This literally smells luxe. I feel like that's the perfect word to describe this fragrance. It just smells luxe to me. It smells like money. And I love the gold in this. A lot of people don't, but it leaves like a nice like gold sheen. I'm gonna spray it on real quick so you guys can see. I'm mixing with my other fragrance, but I think I'm already glowing a bit. So you might not be able to tell, but it leaves like a nice little gold shimmer on your skin when you spray it on. So I really like that. I love anything that makes you glow even more. So to me, I do get I believe it has a bergamot note. I don't know for sure. I don't have any of these notes in front of me, but that's what it smells like to me. It has a bit of citrus components, primarily in the opening, but the star of this fragrance to me is that ylang-ylang note. And it does still have that banana scent that I've told you guys I can get from ylang-ylang, like a creamy banana scent. Then the coconut scent here, I said coconut in this fragrance kind of smells more like a coconut water. The ylang is the star of this show. If you like ylang, then I think you'll enjoy this fragrance. Ylang, citrus, and coconut. And then the vanilla, I believe it does have a vanilla note. I smell something that smells like vanilla. Adds even more sweetness and creaminess to the fragrance. I really enjoy this fragrance. It's very well blended, nothing sharp about it. I'd say this is my tropical floral of choice. Maybe my favorite, like of holidays and Tuberose Imperial. I would reach for this one over those two for sure, I think. My other tropical fragrance, which you guys know I love, is La Nuit Trésor Nude by Lancome. That layers amazingly with this fragrance. It smells so good. I had that combination on one day and went through a drive-thru. The lady had her mask on and everything. And as I was reaching for my coffee, I was at Starbucks. She was like, I don't know if that's you in your car, but something smells amazing. It was obviously me, of course, because I had on this with Nude that day. If y'all have both of those fragrances, definitely give that combination a try. Nude also smells good with Tuberose Imperial as well. Any kind of tropical fragrance like that. I wouldn't layer it with holidays because holidays is already super potent. I don't like layering anything with fragrances that are crazy strong like that because I would die. But yeah, again, that is Laine in Gold by Mikalev. Did I tell you guys where I got this from? I got this one from Fragrance Net. It randomly came back in stock, and I believe Maria told the girls that it came back in stock, and honestly before then I wasn't even interested in it. I think it's because of the comparisons to Chopard. I forgot the name of it. But and the Honey. Because of those comparisons, I didn't know if I would like this or not, and I never even tried those fragrances, but I know that they were compared to Vanilla Fields by Coty, which I have a little sprayer of. And I will say that this does smell a bit similar to that, but that one has more of a vintage smell to it. This doesn't smell vintage at all to me, so I much prefer this one. And I think that's what some people were saying about the Chopard as well. So Cashmere, that's the name of it, the Chopard Cashmere. So I think that's what people were saying as well, that that one has more more of a vintage quality and more of a, I think it's like peach or apricot or something. This doesn't have peach or apricot, anything fruity like that. It smells like banana. Creamy, sweet banana. But I got this for a great deal from Fragrance Net when it came back in stock randomly, thanks to Maria. And I'm glad to have it in my collection. This is probably gonna get a lot of wear this summer here. So again, that is, why am I putting this back on? Because these are going on my shelf. This is Ylang Gold by M. Micallef. So the next fragrance I have here is Fève Délicieuse. Delicious. I probably should look up the pronunciation. I tried to do that, guys, when I think about it, but I didn't think about it. I think it's Délicieuse though. Fève Délicieuse by Christian Dior. Here's the box that it came in. Looks like this box is massive, and I only got the small size. Luxury feeling. Oh, I almost hit myself in the face. So there is the top, and I've already worn these. Like I said, I just put it back in here for y'all to see. Comes with a little dust bag and lots of tissue paper, and it also has a pillow underneath that the fragrance was sitting on. And then the fragrance comes in this little box here, and mine has a dent. I feel like because the bottle is so small and the sprayer sprays out quite a bit. I've worn it a few times. It looks like, and this one wasn't a love at first sniff for me, and I still don't love it. I do like it. I'm glad to have tried it, but there's something a bit sharp about this as well. I think the lavender note in this kind of bothers me as well. The name means delicious bean, so the tonka bean note in this is the most prominent note, and in this fragrance it smells like how I told you guys tonka smells to me. Or did I tell you? I didn't tell you guys that in this video, but I've mentioned it previously. It has a slightly powdery vanilla and almond scent to it, kind of reminiscent of heliotrope. So when I smelled this, I kind of was reminded of heliotrope, but heliotrope has that added doughiness to it, and I feel like in this fragrance I got a doughiness as well. Like I've told you guys previously, maybe like a vanilla and almond cookie dough scent with a light flower dusting. Sweet, a bit powdery, and aromatic. In the opening, it has a mintiness to it. The opening reminds me a bit of the opening of Guimauve by Reminiscence. I told you guys I love Guimauve, so it's kind of what this opening reminds me of, because it has that minty, aromatic, sweet scent that Guimauve opens up as well. But with this one, the mintiness dissipates. It sticks around a bit in Guimauve, and the lavender sticks around in this fragrance though, and it stays pretty prominent on my skin. I feel like lavender is probably another one of those notes that my skin amps up a bit. I'd say that the tonka bean note is the most prominent. So you have that sweet, doughy, vanilla and almond scent, a bit powdery, and then you have lavender. So that's what this smells like mostly to me. I'd say this and Guimauve are in the same fragrance family, but I personally prefer Guimauve to this fragrance. I believe because in Guimauve, the opening settles more, and the aromatic quality settles more in that fragrance than it does in this one. So that lavender note in Guimauve doesn't stick around throughout the entire wear. I love lavender when it's not too herbal. I feel like it's herbal in this fragrance, or it's more herbal leaning than I would like, kind of like with Mon Guerlain. And it's not super off-putting in this fragrance, but I just much prefer Guimauve. So I feel like it's kind of redundant to have both, even though I don't think Guimauve is a dupe per se. They're just similar enough to where I would end up reaching for one over the other when I was in the mood to smell like something like this, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is Fève Délicieuse by Christian Dior. And I purchased this directly from the Dior site. I didn't have any discounts or anything. I paid full price for it. Honestly, I wasn't curious about it for a long time because I feel like I wouldn't like it, because tonka bean is one of those notes that I thought was hit or miss for me, because I don't really enjoy it in the Carolina Herrera Good Girl fragrances, but I really just don't like the tonka bean note that's used in those particular fragrances. But yeah, it's nice, and I'm glad to have tried it, so I don't regret buying it, but I don't think I'll repurchase it. So again, that is Fève Délicieuse by Christian Dior. And last but not least, I have another fragrance that I purchased from Fragrance Net because of Maria. And this is Lune Felline by Atelier des Ors. The box looks like, that's the outer box. It has another box inside. Nice, thick, strong packaging, as pricey fragrances should have. Isn't that bottle just gorgeous up in there with that gold background? So this has gold specks in it, and it does leave those specks on your skin, which is kind of weird because it's not like glitter particles, So it kind of leaves like these big chunky specks on your skin. Not super noticeable, but there nonetheless. So here's what it looks like. It's very pretty floating around in the bottle. As you can see, I have a little dent. I think this might be the one I had the longest out of these fragrances that I mentioned here. This is not Blind Buy safe, just based off of the reviews I have read and seen. It's an oriental herbal woody vanilla to my nose. Don't think gourmand vanilla. If you're wanting more of a gourmand vanilla fragrance, this is not the one. Okay, it's not that sweet. There is a bit of sweetness, primarily in the dry down, but I would not call this a sweet fragrance by any means. And I have enough sweet vanilla fragrances in my collection, so I like that this one isn't super sweet. On my skin, this is more woody than anything. And like I said previously, my skin amps up woody notes. So in the opening for me, this is very spicy. And the spice that I get in the opening, I think is from that pink pepper note and then some woodiness in the opening. But then as it settles, I start to get more of that cardamom note. And I love the cardamom in this fragrance. Cardamom for me is a bit tricky. I don't love it in every fragrance. Well, I don't have that many cardamom fragrances, first of all. But in the fragrances that I've tried with it in there, it's made those fragrances to where I have to be in the mood to wear them. And cardamom to me is like a green herbal spice note typically. Here is herbal, not very spicy to my nose. Like I said, I think the spice that I'm getting in the opening is from that pink pepper note, because after the opening it's not very spicy to my nose, but it's still herbal. And as it settles, I get more vanilla, but it's like a very lightly sweet vanilla bean scent, a bit herbaceous from that cardamom note, and then woody, so an herbal woody vanilla in the jar down. I don't know how it would smell to others on me when I've worn it. I wasn't really around people. I've worn this mostly at nighttime. I really enjoyed it when it was cold outside, and I really like this for bed as well. Great longevity, it lasts hours. This is one that you have to wash off of your clothes, and on skin, I'd say 10 hours plus. It doesn't have a huge projection. I'd say moderate, but I do smell it the majority of the time while I'm wearing it. It's so pretty. I haven't worn it in a minute. I might have to wear this to bed tonight. But I love this fragrance. Don't think it's a safe blind buy. I bought it pretty much because it was an amazing deal based off of what this fragrance goes for. It randomly came back in stock on FragranceNet, and Maria let us know. And it hadn't even been on my radar, honestly. I'd seen people talk about it, but I was never really interested. But I think Maria's love for it and the fact that the price was right, I was like, why not? If I don't like it, I can always declutter it. But turns out I really loved it. It's a very unique fragrance, but like I said, definitely sample first. I blind bought it because obviously I'm a risk taker, but I don't regret it, not one bit. This one is amazing, layered with Kayali vanilla as well. They go so good together. If you're looking for more of a sweet vanilla scent, it kind of adds more sweetness to this fragrance. So yeah, again, that is Atelier des Ors Lune Feline. Okay guys, that was it for the fragrances that I hauled. I will have everything linked down in my description box as I always do. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section as usual. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel before you leave. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye.